Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're diving deep into a book whose title alone has sparked countless conversations. And, let's be honest, probably a few double takes. Jennette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died.
Yeah, that title, it's definitely more than just trying to shock people. It feels like a really deliberate statement.
Totally.
Right.
Yes, sir.
It sets the stage for what is, a critically acclaimed and really profoundly personal book.
Totally.
It just challenges all those ideas you might have about, celebrity memoirs. It kind of dares you to look closer.
Absolutely. And for this deep dive, we're looking at Jennette McCurdy's first book. It came out August 9th, 2022. Simon & Schuster published it. And it really just lays bare her life as a child actor, that incredibly complex, controlling, sometimes abusive relationship with her mom, and then her journey, her really tough path to recovery after her mom died in 2013.
Yeah.
So our mission today really is to explore not just what the book tells us about trauma, resilience, finding your voice, but also how she told the story.
Right. The how is key.
Exactly. How it resonated with so many people led to this huge success, and why it's still sparking these really important conversations, maybe even with you listening right now.
Okay, so that title, I'm Glad My Mom Died. It is designed to stop you, isn't it?
Oh, completely. It's not something you hear every day, especially, from someone who grew up famous.
Right.
What was she actually trying to do with a title that provocative?
Well, that's a great question because it is the first thing everyone notices. McCurdy's been pretty open about it, the title and the cover photo. She said she wasn't trying to be, flippant or disrespectful.
Okay.
She talked about capturing the humor in the tragedy, trying to convey something really specific like sincerity, a little bit of pain, but also a little bit of hope. It's meant to be honest about how complicated her feelings were, not just, happy her mom was gone.
And the cover really backs that up, I think, if you've seen it. It's McCurdy looking up, almost wistfully, holding this pink urn, and there's confetti or paper spilling out. It's definitely not a party picture. It feels exactly like she described. Sincere, a bit pained, hopeful, all mixed together. It makes you pause, right? Consider what's really behind those words.
And that visual combined with the raw title.
Yeah.
Wow, it clearly hit a nerve because the commercial success was just huge. Phenomenal, really.
How huge are we talking?
It sold out within 24 hours. Like Amazon, Target, Barnes & Noble, gone.
Wow.
And that same month, August 2022, boom. #1 New York Times bestseller for nonfiction. Hardcover and ebook.
That kind of takeoff for a memoir, especially one with a title like that,
Yeah.
it's pretty remarkable. What do you think drove that? Was it just the shock or maybe the buzz about her Nickelodeon past catching up?
I think it's a mix. And the speed of it, over 200,000 copies in the first week alone, suggests something deeper, like a real hunger for authenticity.
Okay.
Yeah, the title grabbed attention, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think people were maybe ready for something real. After years of seeing these polished celebrity images, these kind of glossy memoirs, there seems to be this appetite for stories that just strip away the facade and show the raw truth, especially from someone you think you know from TV. McCurdy wasn't just telling her story, she was kind of dismantling an image. And that really connected.
So it wasn't just a flash in the pan, then people stuck with it.
Definitely not fleeting. It stayed popular. Like as of early October 2023, it was still the New York Times hardcover list for 60 weeks straight.
60 weeks.
60. And by July 2025, it had sold over 3 million copies. All formats. And get this, it wasn't just people buying it. It was one of the most borrowed books in U.S. public libraries in 2023 and 2024.
Wow.
That kind of sustained interest across buying and borrowing over that long,
Yeah.
it tells you how deeply this story hit home for a lot of people.
It really does. So what does that intense title plus this huge sustained success? What does it tell you about what the public wants right now? This hunger for authentic stories, especially from people we mostly know through a screen. It feels like we're craving honesty.
I think it tells us that people are getting savvier about media, about celebrity culture.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit tired of the curated perfection.
Yeah, maybe.
This book is like the anti-Instagram feed, in a way. It cuts through the noise. And it connects because it shows you, the listener, that being famous doesn't protect you from deep struggles. Sometimes it makes them worse.
Right.
So readers, whether they watched her shows or not, they connect with those universal things.
Right.
Overcoming hardship, finding yourself. And McCurdy just lays it all out there.
That impact really speaks to the story inside. So how did she structure it? How does she make it resonate so much? You mentioned it's divided into two parts, before and after her mother's death.
Exactly. That structure is crucial. Before takes you right into her childhood, starting acting at just 6 years old. It covers her early career, even that brief country music stint she had.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Capitol Records, Nashville.
That's the one, 2009 to 2012. Released an album. But the core of Before is really digging into that incredibly difficult, controlling, often abusive relationship with her mom, Debra, who passed from cancer in 2013.
Okay.
And it also touches on that strained relationship with a Nickelodeon producer she only calls the creator. Lots of speculation that it's Dan Schneider.
Right. That sounds like a really heavy foundation for the book. So what happens in After?
Well, After deals with the fallout. McCurdy talks about falling deeper into disillusionment and her eating disorders after her mom died. And then it chronicles her recovery journey, which is long. It's not like, Mom died, now I'm free.
Yeah.
It's a real look at how deep that stuff goes. The whole process spans, like she says, 304 pages and almost 30 years of her life. It shows the lasting impact of that trauma and the sheer effort it takes to heal.
This book really did feel like it changed the game for celebrity memoirs. You know, we saw so many, especially in the 2010s, these YouTuber books that often felt like, well, vanity projects, brand extensions.
Sorry.
This felt completely different. What made it break that mold?
That's such a key point.
Yeah.
It absolutely shifted perceptions away from memoirs as just vanity projects. What makes it stand out is McCurdy's startling authenticity, as some critics called it, and a real passion for the craft of writing.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like she's just polishing her image. She's using writing almost like therapy, but also art. She invites you into the messiness of recovery. You see the journey, not just some neat ending. And that changes what you expect from someone famous.
Yeah.
And what's really poignant, almost like this fourth wall break, is knowing her own mother actively discouraged her from writing when she was younger.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So here she is, years later, finding her voice and massive success, doing the very thing her abuser tried to stop.
That adds a whole other layer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So besides the honesty, what about her writing style makes it so gripping? How does she share these really dark things without it feeling just grim?
It's her narrative approach. It's really unique. She doesn't write looking back with her current understanding, imposing that adult view on her past self.
Okay. How does she do it then?
She tells the story from the perspective of the age she was at the time. So you experience things through the eyes of 6-year-old Jennette, then 10-year-old Jennette, and so on.
Ah, I see.
It's only near the end, after she's gone through therapy in real life, that she starts to bridge that gap between then and now, between the child experiencing it and the adult processing it.
That sounds incredibly immersive. Must put you right there with her.
It absolutely does. It lets you, the reader, feel the progression of the abuse, the impact it had, almost in real time. You feel her innocence, her wanting freedom, but then the crushing guilt she felt for wanting independence. It's like this intimate, artistic recreation of her life puts you right in her shoes.
And yet, despite how heavy it is, people like Jared Carmichael called it mordantly funny, impressively funny. That seems like a really tough balance to strike humor amid such darkness. Did it feel risky? Like it could have backfired?
It's definitely a risk, and it shows her skill that she pulls it off. The humor isn't usually aimed at her deepest pain. It's more sarcastic, pointed at the absurd situations around her or other people.
Okay.
It acts like a pressure valve. It gives you moments to breathe, makes the tough parts more bearable without ever making light of the trauma itself. It's part of her voice, that wit, and it stops the book from just being overwhelmingly bleak. Shows her resilience, even then.
It's so clear the impact goes way beyond the book itself, and she's made some really bold moves professionally that seem to echo the book's themes.
She really has. I mean, one huge example is turning down $300,000 from Nickelodeon.
Right, the hush money.
Exactly. Money offered basically for her silence about her experiences there, including with the creator. Turning that down, that's a massive statement about her commitment to telling her truth, no matter the financial cost. Her story was more important than the payout.
That takes incredible integrity, and the critics clearly recognize the book's power, too, beyond just the sales figures.
Oh, massively. The reviews were glowing. Publishers Weekly called it insightful and incisive, heartbreaking and raw. Kirkus Reviews said it was the heartbreaking story of an emotionally battered child delivered with captivating candor and grace.
Wow.
The Atlantic praised it as a layered account of a woman reckoning with love and violence at once. The New York Times called it alternately harrowing and mordantly funny. Plus, it won the 2022 Goodreads Choice Award for Best Memoir and Autobiography. That's huge, voted by readers.
And it reached people globally, right? Lots of translations.
Yeah, tons. Romanian, Portuguese, Polish, Dutch, Italian, Swedish, Japanese, Vietnamese. I mean, the list goes on. Shows how universal those themes are.
And now, if the book wasn't big enough, I hear there's a screen adaptation coming. What's the story there? How does her story translate to TV?
Yep, it's happening. Apple TV Plus greenlit a 10-episode series back in July 2025. It's inspired by the memoir. And get this, Jennifer Aniston is set to star as the mother.
Jennifer Aniston, wow.
Yeah, and she's executive producing too. The focus is supposedly on the codependent relationship between an 18-year-old actress in a hit kids show and her narcissistic mom, who relishes in her identity as a starlet's mother. Yeah. So big names, big platform.
That's definitely a sign of its continued relevance. But I also heard there might have been some creative bumps in the road already.
You heard right. There was news that filmmaker Jason Reitman, who was attached to direct, left the project. Reports said it was over a tense clash with McCurdy. Apparently, he wanted a more comedic tone than she did.
Interesting.
It really is. It shows again how dedicated McCurdy is to the integrity of her story. She knows exactly how she wants her experiences portrayed. She's not just the source material. She's actively protecting the nuance, the emotional truth she worked so hard to convey in the book. Reclaiming her narrative isn't just writing it down, it's overseeing how it continues to be told.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And what's really fascinating is how this one book connects to these bigger conversations about child stars, celebrity pressure, reclaiming your story. It fits into this lineage, you know? Like Mommy Dearest back in '78, Christina Crawford talking about Joan Crawford.
Right, pulling back the curtain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And more recently, things like the documentary Quiet on Set about Dan Schneider and Nickelodeon, the same network where McCurdy had her own difficult experiences. Her book adds this incredibly personal, powerful voice to that whole discussion. It kind of closes that gap between a celebrity and an ordinary person, showing fame isn't protection. Sometimes it's the opposite.
Wow, what a deep dive into a really, truly impactful book. It's so much more than just a tell-all, isn't it? It's this testament to resilience, the power of your own voice, the whole journey of healing.
That really feels like the core takeaway, right?
Yeah.
Her decision to stop acting permanently in 2017, turning down the iCarly reboot, all of that, and just make her own choices, finally free from her mother's control. That's the real conclusion. In the book and in her life. It's the ultimate proof that real freedom, real peace, it comes from inside. Making choices for you, not because of pressure or past pain, which kind of leaves us with a question, maybe for you listening. In this world that's just full of information, so many curated images, what other powerful, authentic stories are still out there, waiting to be heard?
Yeah.
And what can those stories teach us about being vulnerable, about recovery, about finding your real voice? Especially when those voices might challenge what we think we know. Think about the stories we celebrate. And maybe the ones still waiting in the wings, offering a different, maybe uncomfortable, but really vital kind of truth.